Israeli wine industry can be said to be 5,000 years young. It is a new region, with globally educated winemakers rediscovering the promise of the land. They are restoring its purpose by bringing new world knowledge and techniques to an area where advanced viticulture was practiced thousands of years ago. The Eastern Mediterranean, including the land that was to become Israel, was, after all, the cradle of the world's wine trade. While winemaking itself probably began in Georgia near the Black Sea, it was in this area that the business of wine first flourished. From here, viticulture was spread and wine shipped in Canaanite jars throughout the Mediterranean basin by seafaring Phoenicians. In Israel, in this land of contrasts, ancient and modern, past and present, and secular and sacred exist simultaneously, creating a sense of timelessness.
Not doing anything new. We're actually reinstalling a very ancient wine industry that was all around here. All of the terraces around here, the valley of Shiloh, were all planted with grapevine.
When walking in the Shomron Hills, it is hard to avoid stepping on the ancient wine presses carved out of the soft limestone. Etched in the stone are grooves where the juice would flow to underground caves, or was put in clay jars and fermented. Local indigenous grapes can be found growing wild. Dr. Shivi Drori, chief winemaker of GVA'OT Winery, employs the latest technology in his laboratory where he conducts research on these ancient grapes. GVA'OT creates quality modern wines from these and other grapes grown in this historic land with its unique terroir. Wine became so important for the inhabitants of the region, for business, medicine, even as a currency, that it became part of religious sacrament and an obligatory element in every celebration. It still is.
It was for generations a part of our life. Every holiday, every Shabbat, every happy day has wine included in the ceremony. If I had a groom or bride coming in, I gave them for free a bottle of wine for the chuppah, because it's for me exciting to be a part of the simcha, of the happiness of them.
Rules governing winemaking and respect for the land were enshrined in religious law. One of the practices, still followed by some wineries, is Shemitah.
The rule, the idea behind is to respect the land, that it can rest every 7 years. Because with that year, we use it, but very, very simple, only what's necessary for the grapes. And then in that year, the wine is holy. And then you have to respect it as well. For example, you can drink it, but don't waste it. Drink it until the end, because it's not only wine, it's a holy wine.
Like many religious laws, Shemitah is founded in the practical consideration of rejuvenating the land and restoring its fertility, a practice being adopted by some progressive farmers throughout the world today. For Or Haganus, religious devotion is expressed through the idea of community, and wine production is about sharing goodness and fulfilling a community role. But even tradition-bound Israeli wineries such as Or Haganus and Tura, who like many Israeli wineries make only kosher wine, are thoroughly modern and progressive in wine production. They are dedicated to making great quality wines. The people making the wine may be governed by their religion, but the wine stands on its own and is made to be judged on its merits. The cultivation of grapes for winemaking virtually disappeared from Israel for about 1,300 years. It was revived in the mid-19th century by Jews returning to Israel from Europe. The Jewish community was very poor. Inspired by Sir Moses Montefiore, who recommended agriculture as a trade, some of them turned to winemaking. Winemaking families like the Tepperbergs of Tepperberg Winery and Shores of Hyacer Winery, still making wine today after 8 generations, were the early pioneers of the modern Israeli wine industry.
And one really courageous decision, very brave one, with a lot of vision.
At the start, the Shore family was making sweet wines from local grapes in the Muslim section of the old city of Jerusalem. They stored the wine in barrels against the western wall. The Tepperbergs also started in Jerusalem selling wine mainly to the Christian community. Today, both their old and New World style wines earn high ratings and accolades from critics worldwide. The transformation from sweet, sacramental wines to a modern quality-driven wine industry started with Baron Edmond de Rothschild, a wealthy Frenchman and owner of Château Lafite in Bordeaux. He saw potential in the then barren land, and in the 1880s planted vineyards of Bordeaux-style grapes in the Mount Carmel region, a place famous for wine in biblical times. The root of the name itself, Carmel, means God's vineyards. Today, Carmel Winery is one of Israel's largest. They still make Bordeaux-style wines from the Mount Carmel region, but now grow grapes of all varieties in all of Israel's growing regions. When you visit the vineyards today, when you talk to the winemakers, you feel the history. You feel the pride in restoring wine to the land, of creating this thoroughly modern wine industry and making these quality wines in the same place where it was done a long time ago. How long?
Many years ago, probably hundreds of thousands of years ago. And we're now just trying to reestablish this beautiful practice.